What's going on, guys? Quick video response for Joey Brings It. Vintage, modern. For me, it's vintage. Always has been. And, well, to be honest with you, I'm the guy that falls in the middle, kind of post junk wax. My favorite products to buy are usually from 2000 to 2009. But he wants us to choose between, or what our favorite is between vintage and modern. And for me, it's simple. It's vintage, and because it really doesn't matter the sport, I am more interested in the history and the past of the game than I am the game in its present state or its future. I really don't care about it. Don't like the direction it's going, or maybe that's the old man in me talking or whatever, but that's why I'm into vintage, because I'm just not into football or the Chicago Bears or the Cubs. I'm into the history of that franchise and the history of the game. And, you know, that's vintage. So I would choose vintage over that. And as far as, I would, to choose a card, I'd definitely go with the Ty Cobb. A lot of guys go with the Mickey Mantle, and I've heard some guys say, you know, some stuff like about stories and stuff, and Ty Cobb has just as many stories as Mickey Mantle does. But it's just my taste, my preference. That's why I do it. I guess maybe there's a little bit like if I were to die 10 years from now or whatever, whoever winds up with my collection, they can pull out a Ty Cobb and still get some money for it. Whereas a Mike Trout or something, maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't know. But I get that's a small part. But the main part is just my taste. I prefer vintage because I like the history. I like the kind of almost like an artifact feel of the products. So I would definitely go with the Ty Cobb card if I had to choose between them cards. As far as where the hobby is heading in 5 years from now, more the same. I mean, you want to look into the hobby's future, you just really got to look into it. You look into its past. It's constantly repeating itself, be it junk wax scandals or whatever. I mean, I started collecting in the early 80s. You had to worry about, you know, shady dealers at shows. Take the shirt off your back if you let them. You had some counterfeiters out there with some key rookie cards. Then you get into the 90s and you got third-party grading or authentication services, which is some of the biggest crooks out there. And I mean, it's not all bad now. Some good stuff came from the 80s and 90s, like card technology started improving and stuff like that. And then in the 90s, you get started with the, you know, the PSA and the... I've always been on the PSA, knew that first card was trimmed, you know, and I'm in high school when this was happening. I couldn't believe people were flipping out over it. I'm like, why is nobody questioning this? But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. But then, you know, so 90s, you got to start worrying about, you know, third-party authentication companies and how crooked they are. And you get into the 2000s, they start putting memorabilia and stuff in cards. Then you got to start worrying about the actual card manufacturers not being 100% with you. So, and then there's always, every 5 years, there's always a scandal. There's a real, you know, underbelly to the collecting world out there. And it's really kind of well documented, but we choose to ignore it, or we just don't care, or, you know, just don't, like, you've heard me kind of in the past, I don't want to say question, maybe just, you know, call out PSA on a certain thing. So I still get cards slabbed, you know. I'm not in it for the competition of the registries or anything like that. I just like the displays. I like it when somebody can come into my card room, look at a card, not know anything about cards, and kind of just, you know, read that little tab right there and see what it's all about. But then you get, and it just kind of repeats itself. Like I said, every 5-10 years there's some kind of slabgate going on. Memorabilia is a joke. I never got into that. I just couldn't do it. It was just too much. I mean, I see these guys showing autographs and stuff sometimes. I'm thinking, you know, that's not a Mickey Mantle. What you got there is an authentic Greg Marino auto. But anyways, I got way off track there. What I'm saying, in 5 years, the hobby is just going to be more the same. The overproduction is going to continue. You know, and then you get into the later into 2000, group breaks start coming again. The gambling aspect, as soon as they put odds on the card or on the packs, it became gambling. And I don't see it. I tell you what I would like to see. I'd like to see somebody else, preferably Topps, get some football rights back and get some competition for Panini there. But I see more of the same. It's just going to constantly repeat itself. So that's my thoughts on the subject. Sorry, my dog's running around crazy right now. Chill out. Definitely taking the Ty Cobb. All right, I definitely prefer vintage over modern for collecting, and I'm not an investor, but I guess if I were, I'd still go that route. And the future of the hobby, it's just going to be more of the same, guys. It's just going to continue to repeat itself like it has for the past 30, 40 years. And as collectors, you can either choose to be bitter about it, or you can choose, you know, to turn a blind eye to it, or just, like I do, know it's there, but don't let it affect you in what you do. If you like doing something, do something. But don't be that guy that is going to show off a cut autograph, you know. And or you can be. I shouldn't say it like that. I just, you know, memorabilia and stuff is just something I never really got into for that reason. I mean, Richard McWilliams from Upper Deck, that guy is a stone cold crook. That whole thing, what they did with that Ken Griffey Jr. and there'll always be, what do they call that, false scarcity in the hobby, and it started, I think, with guys like Richard McWilliams at Upper Deck and that Ken Griffey Jr. card. So anyway, holy shit, I was kind of all over in this video. Sorry about that, guys. But there you have it, Ty Cobb. If I had the 20 grand to pick one of those cards, definitely the Ty Cobb, because it's like an artifact to me. What else did... the hobby, 5 years, it's going to be more the same. And if I just prefer vintage over modern for the reasons I've probably said 5 or 6 times already in this video. Or I'm sorry, guys, it's been a long day. But anyway, Joey, thanks for the contest. I've been enjoying hearing other guys' opinions on this subject. Fun as always. And I'll talk to you guys later. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.